Page 208, Minuet in D minor. This is a piece for solo playing. If you want to play for somebody that want to hear you, you could play this. In this unit, we're covering what's known as three-part form or ternary form. Two-part form was binary. Three-part form is ternary, okay? Four-part form is a mess, I think. I'm not sure. But you can see the sections. The first section is like through the first 12 measures, up to the thin and thick bar line, the end of piece symbol. You know the piece is going to end there eventually. So that's section A. And then the rest of it to the bottom of the page, that's section B. It's a different melody. It's a different feel. And then the DC Alfini takes you back to the beginnings to do A again. So it's an A, B, A form. That's three forms? Okay. See, the three forms don't have to be all different. They just have to be three forms. So I look it over, I see it's about a page long. It's longer than that because of the DC Alfini, but I'm interested in how much music I'm going to have to deal with. About a page. Treble bass clef, at least to start. One flat in the key signature. It already tells you it's in D minor, because it could be an F major or D minor, whichever. Do the scales in arpeggios for both if you're doing them. At least 2 octaves up and down. Okay. 3/4 time, well, it makes sense. It's a minuet. Minuets are generally in 3/4 time. I'm going to take it one hand at a time. First, of course, I want a fingering that lets me connect the notes if I can. That lets me feel my way around the keyboard and lets me feel the flow of the music, the flow of the line. Right hand is their suggestion 2, and we can start with their suggestions. We may have to change it. 1 and 2. Reach. Now they want you to come up in 2 again, because you start with 2 and now it's like a sequence going up. So they're going to finger it the same. The problem is the A. That's a stretch. But in the third measure, you have 2 E's. You can change there. So I can go a 3 and then a 2. Then measure 6. And then measure 8. See, that's another sequence. Why don't they finger that the same? I don't know, but they're not, so okay. And then come down. I prefer a 4 on the E, because that's it. Except we need 4 on the F coming up, so 3 is fine. Here, so I got 4 for that. I could do 4 on both. It's just a little safer to use third here. And then what, here, and here. And in measure 11, I like that fingering because that prepares you for the chord. You connect it here. Now you're in position. Going on, they want 2. Well, that's a little inconvenient because I got 2 here. So what I'm going to do is, since I got 4 here, I'm going to do 4 on the first one, and then I can do 2. In fact, I could do a 4-3-2. I can do all kinds of things, but for measure 13, I'm going to use 4 on the first one. 4. We're just taking advantage of the repeated notes to change hand positions. Happens a lot. Now, measure 16, you ended here, and then reach out for measure 17. And I'm going to recommend you go ahead and you can just stay there, because again, you got 2 G's. You can do that. Or for measure 17, you can scrunch up here, whichever. And then 2. And you don't really have to do that. If you, in measure 17, if you scrunch up, you can stay there. Here, and then scrunch it. Like that. Way you're ready to go back to the beginning. You see on the fingering in the book is whoever edited, it's their opinion of how it might be played. There's different fingering styles. There are different ways of fingering things. It's not that one is right and one is wrong. There's different ways of doing it. So you can use fingering in the book is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I prefer the one that I'm used to, and that's what I'm suggesting to you. Left hand, we got chords. Here, and here, and here. Now, since we got these chords like this, I don't like doing this. So I'm going to start out with a 4-2-1. This way I'm in position. Here. What I can do if I want is I can do the 5-3-1 and then a 4-2-1. This way I'm ready for that. Either way works. It depends on which one you prefer. You want to go from here to here or from here. Thinking about it, I think I'm going to use the 5-3-1 and then a 4-2-1. This way I'm ready for the octaves. And then down. Then come up. And I do a 4-1 on black keys. Not everybody does. A lot of people will do 5. If you have little hands, you don't have a choice. Liszt was a big believer in if you're playing octaves and black keys, you use 4-1, not 5-1. But there's times when you need to use 5-1. But out of habit, I generally use 4-1 on black key octaves. Measure 7, measure 9, okay, and then measure 11. Scrunch up, then come up. And now we have this. This is measure 13. They want this? No. If I'm going to have these two back and forth, then I'm going to use 4-2-1 on that. So from measure 12, from here, I'm going to do 4-2-1 here, and then I can do that. But when I go to the next measure, I need 5-3-1 again. So I got to do that. Because I need second finger for the B flat. And if I do this, second finger's out of place. So I'm going to do that. So again, for measure 13, I'm going to do 4-2-1, then here, and then a 5-3-1 again. This way I'm ready to go on. And here you can do a 5-3-1. This is measure 17. Since you went from here, you can do that, because that's a fourth. Otherwise, I'd use a fourth finger on it, but 3's fine. This way I'm in position for the octaves. So once I have the fingering and the notes and the rhythms worked out for the hands, now I'll try putting them together, and I'll hesitate. That's fine. I was just trying to figure out which fingers on the hands are working together. And here. And here. Now it's just one hand at a time, so let's go to measure 11. Well, we'll finish measure 10 here. Here. So I work out putting the hands together, and in something like this that's really challenging and tricky, take it a section at a time. So get the first section down with no hesitation. Just go over that section, even just 2 or 3 measures at a time if you have to, but just get the first section. And once you have that, then put it aside. Don't be playing it now for a while, and focus only on the second section and get the second section. What you do not do is keep playing it from the beginning to end, because you need to focus on what you can't play. And once you have the beginning, and you will, you just keep playing what you can play. You're wasting time. Focus on what you can't play first and get it all good, and then you put it together. But once I have the hands together and I get rid of the hesitations, nice and slow, doesn't matter how fast you go yet, then I add the articulation. They don't have a whole lot. It's just, if you can feel where the phrases are, you can lift up between the phrases. Well, for me, I got to play the melody a little quick. Well, it sounded like maybe 2 measure phrases. But if that's the case, I'm going to lift up between them. So. Before the left hand. In other words, there's a little silence but here. Also, you might use the dynamics to give you a hint as to where the phrases might be. If you look at measure 5, it's loud. Measure 6 is soft. It's like a reply, statement reply. Well, that makes each measure a phrase. So put a little silence between each of the phrases, and then, of course, going from measure 12 to 13, you lift up. I guess we're still in 2 measure phrases. And then it's hard for me to tell if we're in 2 measure phrases. Some of these measures sound like they're a phrase in themselves. Get into it when you're comfortable with it and you got all the mechanics out of the way and you're feeling it. That may help also to decide where the phrases are. Now, once I've done the articulation, then I think about the dynamics. It applies to the melody, more or less. And here's soft. These, very soft. Now, soft. So put in the dynamics. And then the speed. Andante moderato. We're mixing them up again. It's just a leisure moderato. Think of people dancing to this, some hoity-toity people in a palace somewhere, and it's just a 1, 2, 3, just a nice leisure dance. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'll give us 3 counts. We are going to do the DCL fine and all that too. Not going to do the dynamics. We're just playing notes and rhythms. We're not performing it. And we're going to go slow. 1, ready, go. To the beginning. Good Lord, how long?